When I was first diagnosed with Crohn's disease, this is what I wish my doctor would have told me. I wish he would have told me about something called GNM, also known as German New Medicine, Germanic Healing Knowledge. Essentially, what the doctor who just made these discoveries about the human body, he could look at your brain CT scan and know exactly what health conditions that you had. It was controlled from a very specific part of the brain. And it always started after a traumatic event. For me, it was breakups, and I started to do like more research. And in the 1950s and before that, pretty much it was common knowledge that doctors knew Crohn's and colitis flare-ups would happen after a stressful event. And the people, the more stressful of the event, the more upset and sad and frustrated the person was, the more intense the symptoms. So what I've discovered is that it's this process of coming to peace with that event, if possible. And there's also this other side that's not really talked about much. It's recognizing the PTSD triggers. So what do I mean by that? So one time I walked into a grocery store and I instantly had the urge to go to the bathroom. And I was like, well, what's that all about? And the grocery store was a very traumatic place for me as a kid. I would go there, I'd want candy, I'd want soda, and my mom would say, no, 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 no. I know this is stupid. I know this is kind of hard to categorize as trauma, but how many kids have you seen kicking, screaming, crying? When was the last time you've been that stressed? I've never done that since childhood, to be completely honest. So it's every time I would walk down the candy aisle, my brain would go, oh, there's going to be some BS excuse. You can't have candy. Let's put your gut into overdrive to help you get rid of that BS excuse your mom's going to give you. And again, I'm not being hard on my mom. My brothers went through the same exact thing and they didn't get Crohn's disease, but I experienced it differently for whatever reason. Maybe I watched too many candy commercials growing up. I don't know. But it wasn't until I started just recognizing these all I had to do was see that connection and I would stop getting diarrhea. But then I also had a few other things that was giving, a few other PTSD triggers giving me diarrhea. So so essentially what I'm saying, I have a 13-day protocol that goes into this in much more detail. I have a free webinar where I show you pretty much everything I did to get better, but start to focus your attention on, what are the patterns? You might not always get stressed out. People think that I got to go to Mount Fuji and find Buddha and never experience a negative emotion ever again. That is not it. You have, out of the 10 conflicts in your life, the 10 things stressing you out in your life, there's only one or maybe two that are putting your gut in and out of overdrive. And these PTSD triggers, they might not even be causing any negative emotions. It's just you subconsciously, your subconscious sees it out of the corner of your eye and goes, oh, he doesn't like that crap. Diarrhea, you're welcome. That's what I did to get better. That's how I went from looking like a skeleton and having diarrhea 10 times a day to eating whatever I want and going from 150 to 200 pounds.